Edit. Please remove if not allowed mods. I'm talking to my dads today and will ask them to got principal with me. The comments here made a little sacred about how wrong this could go and how bad was the situation. We'll post an update if things can be posted online. Also, I'm not in USA, even if this sound fake to you. Here in South America things are really this bad, guys. For a little backstory, I, 15F, lost my mom when I was 5. Dad raised me alone until last year when my second dad, whom I call Papa, moved to our home. Now we are a happy family of 4, me, 2 dads and dog. I'm not ashamed of my family, so I never hid it. I'm not really popular at school, so I just really told my friends, and it was all good. Until about 2 months ago, a boy I'll call Duncan, 15 meters, found out. Duncan started simple with jokes like, wow, which one of them is a mom? Which I promptly told the teacher, Mr. Smith, who was like, he's just trying to understand. If you want people to understand, you have to be patient. Duncan started to escalate with, enjoy your time here. It'll get worse when your sinner family goes to hell. And again I went to Mr. Smith, who again was, you can't be prejudiced with his religion. It's wrong in the Bible. He's just trying to understand. In my country every class has only one responsible teacher, so I couldn't go to another BTW. I have many examples, but this paints the picture. After 2 months of that I realized that if I wanted him to stop I had to do it myself. So when he started with his homophobic shit at the cafeteria, I started to remember the saddest thing I could. All movies where the dog dies. All the sad romance movies. Mufas's death. The Fox and the Hound. It didn't take long for the waterworks to come. I started to bawl, ugly sobbing while basically screaming at him, asking why he said I would go to hell, why he hated me and my dads. Just making a huge scene. Duncan started to stutter and plead, trying to make me go to class with him and talk to the teacher. Wonder why? I just cried louder and flinched when he tried to pull me away. The scene was so huge that we ended up at the principal's office. Ms. Yates listened to both sides, and she was pissed at Mr. Smith. She let me tell the whole story, even when Mr. Smith tried to interrupt me to defend Duncan. At the end Duncan got a 5-day suspension, and the principal told me to go directly to her if anything like that happens again. When we left the office, Mr. Smith stopped me and told me, I hope you're happy. You put a permanent mark on a good boy's record because you decided to weaponize your femininity instead of being a little understanding. He tried to make me apologize to Duncan, but I told him I would go right back to the principal's office if he did, and he dropped it. Then later Duncan's friends started messaging me accusing me of acting like Amber Heard and ruining a boy's life just because I can. I didn't tell my parents yet because they are always afraid I'll suffer because they choose to love each other, and I'll not bring anything I can handle to worry them. I don't feel like I'm wrong, but with Mr. Smith's warning and Duncan's friends I'm starting to doubt. So ATA? NTA. Go back to the principal and let her know what your teacher said, as well as what Duncan's friends are messaging you about. I know you don't want to get your parents involved, but I'd also suggest you do that. As it stands, you can't approach Mr. Smith for non-homophobia related issues right now as well, because I wouldn't trust him to do anything. Speak to your principal and ask if you can be switched to another class. I should note, the principal told me to go directly to her if anything like that happens again. It already has. Your teacher's comments were unacceptable, and Duncan's friends are being horrific. Going to her would simply be doing as she asked you to. Op needs to alert her parents, even if just for their own sake. This will eventually become known to them, and they will feel worse knowing their words made her think she needed to deal with it on her own. The sooner she tells them, the more they can help, and the less bad they'll feel. Spoken as a parent, but also someone who knows what it feels like to worry about bothering/hurting people I care about. You're not the asshole. Duncan is discovering that actions have consequences. Yup. I've taught all age groups and everyone learns this lesson sooner or later. I guess Duncan's just learning it on the later side. NTA. Go back to the principal and tell your dads. This counts as harassment and an unsafe environment, and your parents need to immediately start working with the school board to stop it. I completely agree, Op, you are NTA, but you need to go back to the principal and get your dads involved. Your teacher has been allowing Duncan to use weaponized religion against you. Most likely because he is homophobic too but not allowed to show it. NTA, talk to your parents and try to get them to switch you into another class. Your teacher shouldn't be teaching. Yes, I know you don't want to worry your parents, but as a parent, I want you to know the biggest worry is that you won't tell us the stuff you're dealing with and we won't be able to help you. It's a parent's job to have broad shoulders and take on your burdens. It's what we want to do. NTA, your teacher is as much of a bully as that Duncan. He's also a misogynist. Seeing how the principal already supported you, you could report Mr. Smith for those comments. He really shouldn't be teaching. Edit, if you do, and there are consequences for him. Also not your fault at all. Don't feel bad. He's also as homophobic as Duncan. NTA, by a long shot. Duncan was wrong and should have been reported long ago. Duncan's friends are harassing you. You need to take the principal up on her offer and report them. Mr. Smith was also way out of line, and he probably should also be reported for his remarks after meeting in Ms. Yates's office. He should never have approached you like that. His remarks show me that he is probably sexist and probably shouldn't be teaching. I highly doubt you are the first girl to suffer in his class. You also need to bring in your parents. I know you want to spare them, but they are adults, and it is their job to protect you, not the other way around. Started messaging me equals awesome. Solid proof to use in a report. NTA, your teacher is an incompetent and a misogynist. What you did was get a bully to back off, and I'm actually very impressed with your methodology. Had you fought, yelled or insulted Duncan back, I guarantee you both would have been called in, and you would have been suspended too. For the record, Duncan is not a good boy and he earned his own mark on his record for being a homophobic entitled little shite. Tell your dads what is going on, though. Right. Kudos to this girl for having a solid head on her shoulders. This is beautiful. Assholes constantly get away without consequences and this is just what they deserve. Do not let it go opus. Weaponizing your femininity is excellent for this situation. That teacher shouldn't be teaching. Involve your folks. They seem to be good understanding parents looking at you, and that's what parents are there for. NTA. Duncan is a homophobic jerk who weaponized your teacher against you to get his way. Mr. Smith is a homophobic and sexist jerk who thinks women should just let guys harass them because insert stupid excuse /**. I hate that we are not allowed to cry because it is weaponizing femininity, or we are being hormonal, psycho or unreasonable. Women aren't allowed emotions because it might make men feel bad and it sucks. But at the same time women mostly don't get hurt until their bottled up emotions blow up, like this girl, until they saw her really hurt by the word or did they listen to her, or when a woman asks someone to do something and no one listens until she screams, and then it's a why are you screaming you cold vasks nicely. NTA, he's a bully and a homophobe who uses his religion as an excuse to be cruel. Mr. Smith sounds like an R. He probably agrees with Duncan. You had a brilliant solution. If his life is ruined because he was suspended for 5 days, then maybe he should STF you and mind his own business. Girl, your principal is throwing you a lifeline. Use it. She sounds awesome. I'm sure she would want to know if Mr. Smith is saying stuff like that to you in private. She's also want to know if you're getting harassed online by his friends. Also please tell your dads. It's unfortunate to say, but I'm sure they deal with homophobic dickworms all the time and have useful advice for you, or will straight up go to bat for you at the school. If I were them, I would be happy to do it. I'd come in like a raging hurricane and rip that teacher a new one, preferably in front of staff/students. What will hurt them worse than the bullying is knowing you tried to handle it all on your own and subjected yourself to all this treatment in silence. You have a loving, supportive household. Families help each other out. ETA, NTA. NTA. Tell your parents. Tell your parents. Tell your parents. And especially tell the principal what that teacher said and did right after you both left her office. Your teacher is out of control and is now also harassing you. Tell your parents everything and also tell the principal about the harassment the friends of that boy are doing. NTA. You sometimes have to do what you gotta do, and you are not at fault here. That teacher let you down, and he needs to be educated in sensitivity training, harassment and civil rights. He should have put a stop to it, but he chose not to and let his warped religious beliefs take over common sense and decency. He probably went against school policy as well. You can't change that guy's beliefs or his friends, but you can report their harassment and behavior to the principal. Hold your head up high. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Love is love, and you shouldn't be judged for who you love or who your family is. NTA. You need to talk to your parents. Dealing with this is literally their job. NTA. Guaranteed that teacher is religious. We know what that's code word for in situations like that, too. The teacher knows this student isn't trying to understand. It's an excuse for hate. No hate like Christian love / / NTA. A bigot doesn't deserve grace or respect in any way. Let him think about his black mark. Report that teacher too. Bigots do not belong in society. NTA. The sooner Duncan learns to keep his religion to himself, the less he'll suffer. His freedom of religion ends where your freedom *FROM* religion begins. I like that. That's very well put. I will remember that one in future. When we left the office, Mr. Smith stopped me and told me, I hope you're happy. You put a permanent mark on a good boy's record because you decided to weaponize your femininity instead of being a little understanding. You need to type that in an email and send it to your head teacher. Say, *THIS is what Mr. Smith said to me after I left your office. I just thought you said be aware. Also, Duncan's friends have been harassing me through text MESSAGES*, and then attack screenshots. Your head teacher is taking this homophobic abuse seriously, so let her do her thing. NTA. Let's break down this argument. You weaponized your femininity and now a boy is suspended for 5 days. This would be a good argument if you live somewhere where a girl can just get any boy suspended immediately by crying with no questions asked. However, in the actual real world, the kid deserves a suspension, but I don't even care about the kid at this point. This man should not be a teacher. He failed monumentally at providing a safe environment for his students. He created this mess. It is not on you to fix it. It is not on you to suffer for it. You do not have to suffer so that this man can keep his job. He should not have this job. Immediately tell your dads what happened. Tell the principal. All you need to do is tell the story. NTA. NTA. Absolutely NTA. I know this might feel empty coming from a stranger on the internet, but I'm so proud of you. I hope that little shite never directs another word to you. Tell the principal about those other little douchebags too. WOOOOW. So NTA. Mr. Smith is a misogynistic and homophobic asshole for sure. And Duncan is obviously, well, I can't say my opinion of him, or I'll be banned. Don't for a second let these ridiculous bigots gaslight you into thinking you are in the wrong or unreasonable for complaining about their hate. There is no explanation or teachable moment that will make either Duncan or Mr. Smith change their minds about hating same-sex couples, so sleep soundly knowing that karma came for Duncan. Honestly, you should complain to the principal about Mr. Smith as well. This man is bound to get the district slapped with a Title IX lawsuit with his misogynistic bullshit one of these days. I have a feeling the op is not in US, from the way she said in my country. US people don't usually say that, so legalities may be different where she is. Sure is interesting how those friends of Duncan's are using the same allegations against you as that teacher. Huh. I'll bet you $10 Mr. Smith have been telling Duncan how bad he feels for him over his ruined future, and how he tried to make you understand that you were out of line. You need to go back to his boss and call him out on that shit. It is harassment from a teacher. NTA. This. Exactly my thoughts. Plus, the teacher is pushing his "you didn't nothing wrong, my good boy. She is the only evil here" bullshit into really bad pattern for Duncan instead of let him understand that actions have consequences. NTA. Report every single one of Duncan's friends that are harassing you and tell your parents. It's 2022. If Duncan just wanted to know, there's the internet. Your homophobic teacher should have protected you from him, but failed at his job. Report him to the principal too. NTA. You tried to do everything the right way. You told your teacher it was the teacher's job to correct the boy for harassing you. The principal told you to come to them if anything else happens, and something else did happen. Your teacher is very inappropriate, and he's failing at his job. Keeping you safe is part of his job. Talk your parents and explain everything that's happened. You might feel like you need to protect them, but they absolutely want to know what's going on. They can handle it. See if they will go with you to the principal to straighten this out. Had the teacher done his job when you first came to him, Duncan would have stopped, and he wouldn't be in the trouble he's in now. I'm guessing this teacher knows this and is covering his own butt. You've done nothing wrong, and nobody was forcing Duncan to be an op. Your dads absolutely want to protect you, and by being open to them about the harassment you get, it'll help all of you. NTA.